Here's something What's going on, traders? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting here for a second. Got a couple things going on at the house that I'm trying to balance here. I'll probably have to get up twice, but we'll do what we do. We'll do what we do. Welcome back. Welcome back, man. Happy Tuesday, October 28th. Before we get started, make sure your root's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all of your money. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. The codes and links that are going in the chat again right now. What's going on, chat? What's happening? What's happening? What is happening? Let's see. We are looking good across streams. Wolf, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Indices shot out of a rocket. Yeah, absolutely shot out of a rocket. We're going to be taking a look at this here on Project X with Top 1 Futures in just a minute. But of course, you know, we got to say good morning to the team. What's up, team? Big Frank, Muhammad, Dwayne, Muhammad, what's up? What's up? Rhombus, what's up? Good morning, crew. Relaxing Zen. Keen, what's up? Niels, what's up? Jess, Relaxing Zen. Chuck, welcome, welcome, welcome. YouTube, Kick, X. What's going on, chat? What's going on? X, we have 1,000 of you guys joining on X every day. Not anywhere near actually 1,000. But we got a lot of people joining on X every day. If you want probably a better streaming platform with higher quality and lower latency, meaning lower lag between what I'm saying right now, like the actual time running on my chart, because you could do your own latency test, right? You could see the candle printing on my chart to the second right now. That might not be that accurate, actually. But you can hop on Kick or YouTube. You could also chat with me because I can't see what the heck you're saying on Twitter. Anyway, let's see what we got going on, man. 9:22, 9:23 a.m. Eastern. We are here, as you can see, Project X with Top 1 Futures. This is the same 15K Top 1 Futures live account. Technically a pre-live account that I've been trading here for quite a while. We have Bookmap loaded up here over on the left-hand side. I actually have NQ loaded up for you guys today as well. We're going to be taking a look at primarily ES. I like to run on the side, taking a look at what's going on ES. Little bit interesting since I'm coming off of ES and focusing on YM, the Dow Jones primarily. It's easing the pain of letting go of my good friend ES for a little while. But we are absolutely shot out of a rocket, man. On all of these, and we'll cycle through. This is YM. YM was by far the choppiest out of all of them yesterday. Like, NQ was off like a rocket yesterday. ES was very, very choppy, very barcode chop, but eventually started to pick up into the afternoon. NQ, it wasn't till like the close, right? Here's 4 p.m. Eastern, so the last few 15-minute candles, 3:15 into power hour, we started to put, you know, started to challenge that high of day, but it was pretty choppy overall. Overnight session, a whole lot of nothing, and then taking off like a rocket from pre-market, man. There's nothing showing for me anything crazy as far as fundamental news. The big stuff that I saw when I looked for it was Amazon laying off tens of thousands of workers, and maybe we're going to be ready for the AI, crash that's going to come alongside of that. A lot of people started discussing that yesterday, but I didn't see too much craziness. I'll take a look at financial juice. I know we don't have too much on the calendar today. We have 10 a.m. tentative and 10 a.m. Richmond Manufacturing Index and CB Consumer Confidence. Let me slow down. As far as scheduled news, that could provide a little bit of volatility. The big one this week is going to be FOMC tomorrow, 2 p.m. for the rate, 2:30 p.m. for the FOMC press conference, where Jerome Powell typically just ruins everybody's day. Outside of that, we got a ton of earnings. A ton of earnings from, obviously, the big players going this week. That's definitely causing some of this volatility. It's crazy to see it, man. We're seeing it in pre-market today. What that sound is. We're seeing it in pre-market today, which is a little bit wild. So, what the heck? seeing it in pre-market today, which is a little bit wild. So we're going to have to see, man. But let's just go around on these before I get my analysis in any further on Dow here. We are pushing the upside on ES. You know, high of day getting put in on this 15-minute candle. If I take a look at NQ, I believe we were doing the same thing. Yeah, very similar. You know, you could see NQ was just much, much stronger throughout the day. Very choppy within here for NYSE session, but overall, you know, just continual breaks of highs and pushes to the upside all the way into the close. Kind of similar. We're just a little bit of relief below VWAP for these, you know, for Asia, London, but late London into pre-market for NYSE here, we are just shot out of a rocket again, man. Very, very, very strong market. You know, I'm not the higher time frame speculator. I don't like wasting too much time looking at fundamentals and saying, this is what I think is going to happen, and I'm going to create an unhealthy bias around this. I just show up to the charts every day, do my very, very, very simple analysis. Next to no markup, honestly. I'm really enjoying not doing a whole lot of markup. And take a look at the charts technically, right? Frame the context of trend. Frame the context of what we have going on. FOMC this week, earnings, right? Just a little bit of the fundamentals. And then sit down and take a look, you know, what am I looking at doing here for the day? You know, how is this market moving? Is there a direction that I'm going to attempt to trade? And then what areas of interest do I have in the chart to give me a good way to structure risk, right? That's the basics of kind of coming into the trading session for me. This is gnarly, guys. This is really, really gnarly. We are opening up at the highs in a super big bullish push to the upside. Just gap up and no foot off the gas, man. So this is going to be an interesting one to trade. Overall, right, if I start to do the same, you know, framing of the trading session as we come into the open, looking at where we are relative to yesterday's candle and yesterday's volume profile, obviously, we are opening up here in YM 225 points above yesterday's high, obviously also above value area high, volume point of control, value area low. We left a gap from the Sunday open and an untested volume point of control. Obviously, we didn't even come down and test this high, even in the overnight session, you know, at all from Friday. So that's interesting to note as well. Incredibly bullish structure overall. For the overnight session here, right, what have we seen right now, you know, since session changeover, since we last talked yesterday? Choppy, very, very tight range. Choppy, just a little bit of a downtrend here, and then popping at 5:45 a.m. and just continuing to push to the upside. Now, this isn't an incredible daily range put in yet here on YM. We have plenty of room to go to the upside, plenty of room to come back down and print to the downside. If we just take a look at edgeful stats, or we don't even look at edgeful stats, you just take a look, maybe you're into backtesting here, right? Since this Friday insane print, right? Take a look at the average ranges that we've seen for these daily candles put in here, right? If you are just a little bit twitchy with your measurement tool, you'll see 730 points, almost 1,000 points there. Here's a little bit tighter, 650, right? We're putting average session ranges in, you know, around that 600, 700 level, right? So today, to start out with, you know, 330 on the book so far, or on the chart so far, I shouldn't say on the book. You know, we got room to go. We got room to go. How the hell am I going to trade this, guys? How the hell am I going to trade this? I don't see a fade movement here. I really don't. Unless you're just going to jump in super aggressively. We're about 30 seconds to the open here, guys. So, you know, we're getting ready for that. But I don't see, and I have no levels of structure, obviously, looking left, right? There's nothing out here to trade off of. Big round psychological numbers can start to help, like right here, 48,000 evens, the area that we're trading, you know, plus or minus 100 points. I think this could be an interesting spot right here. If I take a look on Bookmap on YM and ES, we did have, we had a little bit on the book, I think at those 48,000 evens. So, you know, if you were going to short just based on a psychological number, I think this level right here where we're trading is not a terrible spot for a move right back down to VWAP. It's not a sweep of prior day high. It's not a sweep of overnight highs. It's not a sweep of anything. It's just short and all-time highs in an extremely bullish market back to VWAP. for me on, on these accounts where I'm really trying to look for solid trade setups and apply some consistency, that ain't it. That's just really not it for me. So I don't know, outside of a little bit later into the morning where we do something different up here over the next, let's say, 30 minutes to 60 minutes. I don't know where I jump into a short here. For a long, I'm going to be really cautious. I got to say, guys, this structure is tough. I had a no trade session yesterday. I'm happy I did because it was just hot garbage here on YM. Like absolutely nothing. I just would have been trapped in here. Today, similar structure where we've got such a push to the upside. Honestly, even worse for me to trade off of, even less of a way for me to structure risk, because I think it's very unlikely in general, right? Maybe not as unlikely in an extremely bullish market like we're in right now, but in general, if you go back through and back testing, if you look at statistics around this, it's unlikely that we leave gaps, that we leave untested volume points of controls. We have 2 down here, right? We have yesterday and then Friday. High volume areas, we are likely to return to these. Where the hell would I want to get long on this if we really start to turn to the downside? I'm going to have to see what price action and market structure looks like to the downside, man. Obvious areas of interest are going to be around these volume points of controls, right? These high volume areas. Also, same as yesterday. I think we got another high somewhere over here if this loads. Nope, it's these two. Even lower than Friday's volume point of control, down into the 47, 325s. That would be a huge move to the downside. Really coming to tap any one of these. We're talking about areas that are 400 plus, 500 plus areas below price. I'm not going to long this off of VWAP. I just find YM to be way too volatile to pull on a move like that. So again, I have times in the market where the market's moving, the market's doing something, and it's just not setting up for me and the way that I trade and the way that I can structure risk. And I try to stay patient. I try to just not do anything crazy, not step out of line, get way out of pocket, get way out of my lane and do something crazy. Talked a little bit about yesterday about, different types of reversion, continuation, and then an extreme volatility news catalyst type of trade that I'll take throughout the day. That's what I wait for. I'm going to wait for, one of those to show up for me. If they don't show up, I'm going to hang out and sit patient. We'll run some duck races. We'll give some accounts out. I just like to throw that out there so you know who you're watching and what kind of stream this is. It's not 47,000 random trades, just for fun to make entertainment. I think it's entertaining when I get trades on. I'll take 1 to 2 trades, right? As they present themselves, but I think it's worth noting that I'm more than happy staying patient. So we started to pop right off the open, came and put the high in, and now we are 125 points off that high, back down towards VWAP. Looks like ES and NQ are pulling a similar movement here. This could be just the run into FOMC, right? Where the market is anticipating positive earnings, positive FOMC news, right? And this is just a lot of positioning ahead of that, where we just have this really big grind to the upside. And the way to trade that, if you want to capitalize on it, is find your way in, right? Find the most shallow pullback you possibly can that gives you a way to structure risk. Prior bar low, sweeping a prior bar low, VWAP, not even a return to highs, not even a return to prior day high, and just start taking longs, right? Take your little paper cuts as they come, maybe keep risk light, and just try to ride this wave to the upside. That's definitely a play if that's your style of trading. But, for me so far on this, I'm going to sit patient. I'm going to watch. I don't have a beautiful setup right off the open. I know I got a lot of new people on here after the ASFX podcast. There are plenty of times where I'm hopping in, ready to take a trade on YM in the first 10 minutes, right off the open, really aggressive. I know what that looks like, right? Usually a couple minutes coming into it, unless we start moving really, really fast. Right now, sitting patient, man. Extremely bullish. I think there's opportunity always in both directions. I think if you're shorting this market today, you're shorting a very aggressive push to the upside. Do I think that we could pull a gnarly stop run, take everyone out before FOMC? Absolutely, man. I think we could absolutely pull one of these moves, right? I think we could see a gnarly long wick to the downside daily candle on all three of these, which would indicate a really aggressive sell-off, and then, you know, some recovery into the end of the day, and then we kind of just go back to doing what we're doing. That type of movement, you know, obviously is very difficult to deal with. If we start to get something like that, you know, I will trade for it. But so far, man, just super bullish, super bullish. So going to be waiting patient on this. Seeing what happens if we come back down towards VWAP. We come back down towards prior day high, volume point of control. There's a lot of statistics around, and I know Brian's always listening in. A lot of statistics around how many times if we open up above prior day high, do we come back to tap that prior day high? Pretty strong stats around that as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. I got a feeling we're going to come back down on this. I don't have a short play. Just arbitrarily shorting the highs up here for me is not going to be it right off the open. Not my play, not something that I'm going to do every day, so not something I'm going to do today. And this is fairly volatile, guys. This is fairly volatile. I mean, I'm zoomed out on the 15-minute chart here. This is not super duper slow moving price action and market structure. This is fairly volatile. But appreciate you guys hopping on as always. Welcome to the show. Welcome. What's going on, guys? Relaxing Zen. Hail Duckmaster Zach. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Trevor, what's happening? Funny, I never trade YM. I was thinking about throwing a couple MYMs after doing my homework. Yeah, you know, different strokes for different folks. Talk about the differences in U.S. indices and weapons of choice a lot. Rhombus, what's going on, man? Fast Money, what's going on? Fast Money says, morning, ladies. Dr. FP should have listened. We can always go higher, much higher. Yeah, I said it yesterday, right, bro? Listen, there's so many sayings and axioms and little, you know, sayings around it, but the market can keep doing whatever it's doing, even when it shouldn't, a lot longer than you can stay liquid, okay? The market can always go higher. The U.S. indices can always go higher. They can just keep going and going and going and going and just exceed daily ranges and average session ranges and all averages and all Fibonacci tools. They could just keep doing, you know, whatever they're doing. Same thing for selling pressure, right? We do have price limits here in the futures market, but we could just keep going and going and going and blow through whatever you want to identify as support and order blocks and where liquidity should be swept, and it could disrespect order flow, you know, as a whole. Like, you know, if you trade for long enough, it's not that you lose faith in technical analysis, you don't have confidence, but when you put trades on, you stop going, it can't go any higher. It has to turn here. It has to do something. It does not, man. It really does not. It does not have to make sense. Anything could happen at any time for any reason. That's the way that I operate, right? Now, opposite of the the smart money market maker, we know what's going to happen next. But there's averages, right? There's statistics. There's things that we trade for to be on the right side of patterns of anomalies in the market, things that tend to repeat themselves, right? That's how we trade in general from a technical standpoint. But you have to hold these two conflicting beliefs true in your mind in order to prevent you from going on tilt and trading emotionally and doing things that don't make sense as a whole in the bigger picture. And it's a difficult thing to do. I think the best traders do a really, really, really good job of holding those two beliefs really strong. That I have an edge with my approach. I am going to put my trades on without reservation or hesitation. I'm going to trade big size. I'm going to take big risk. But at the same time, I know that on this individual trade, on the next trade today, right now, I have no idea if this is going to play out. So it's a really difficult paradox and conflicting belief system that we have to really reason with in our mind as traders. But I believe the best traders do the best job of that, and that's why they're able to execute the way that they're able to execute day in and day out. I really do. They operate like when I watch the best guys that I look up to trade, hella conviction, ready to put their trade on when it sets up, no wishy-washy, boom, they're in it. And just as easily, if they take a swift L, they get their face ripped off, it does not faze them at all. They're like, yeah, welcome to the show. You know, like that's part of trading. And they just move on, ready to put the same type of trade on. And it used to confuse me. I'm like, dude, how are you, how are you doing that? How can you have so much confidence and then get smacked and then still have so much confidence and, hold these two things? And it's this paradox. It's the Mark Douglas, Tom Hogard, Jared Tendler, all the market wizards. It's this game that we have to play of probabilities. It's very difficult to understand. But you trade for long enough, you put your hand, you have it demonstrated to you, put your hand on the stove enough times, start to build the right beliefs. You read enough of the books, you drill it into your hard head like I try to do. You can start to operate with that belief system. But that's what separates the best traders from everybody else, in my humble opinion. Not some strategy, not some magic approach, not some, it's that really honed through experience and time in the markets, mindset, psychology. Let's see, chat. As we're watching this thing sell off, man, really aggressive pushback down towards VWAP on these. Gonna acknowledge something here. As we come back down to VWAP. Volume weighted average price. This might be all we get. I'm not taking a long here, but this might be all we get today. This might be your opportunity. NQ ain't even coming close to ES and YM. But this might be all we get today. This might be your opportunity for the long. Looking on ES, as we're tapping VWAP here, you don't wait for any confirmation. Maybe you wait for some confirmation right here. Stop loss below low of day, maybe even wider, 10 points below, and you say, this thing is bullish, we're running highs. I ain't looking short today at all, so I'm going to try to get long the first place I can. You waited for a pullback down to VWAP. You waited for a pullback down to prior day high to tap, overnight session highs that we put in really early, and this is your long opportunity. I'm going to acknowledge it right here. I'm not taking it, but I'm just pointing something out here. I'm sure a lot of the VWAP traders, the ASFX guys, they're going to be looking long around that VWAP level. They're going to be looking at that crossover maybe of that NYSE session anchored VWAP. It's not my trade. It's just not my trade. But I'm going to acknowledge that could be the pullback. That might be it, right? If we're not going to flip this into a bearish day, we're not going to come through lows, that could be it. For me, on YM, man, I think I'm going to find myself being super patient here. And I'm going to be looking for something, really, really aggressively lower through VWAP for a pop back up. If we start to fail up here, right? I said I would really be hard pressed to short this market. We are dumping right now, right? Not on a declining cumulative volume delta. There is a bit of volume here. Oh, that's an ugly setup for NQ. I'm gonna have to fix that. Declining CVD for sure in YM. There's a continuation trade on this, right? There's a late to the party short. It's a pop back up, find a way to structure risk above session highs and shoot for prior day volume point of control on the way back down. But as a whole, I'm gonna sit patient and wait for some more information. If we just sell off, if we just knife down from the open, there's no trade for me. That's also a no trade setup. Closest thing that I could see happening, we start to dance around here. We kind of fake everybody out, start to pop back up, maybe sweep a high and then come back down. Something along these lines, maybe something along these lines, right? Could look for a continuation short to the downside, right? Back down towards prior day volume point of control. If we get too much lower and we just dump, obviously the opportunity was just to short right off the open, which I think would be a wild move. But if we pull one of these, could look for something to the downside. Again, down below price, these two volume point of controls from prior days, let's say 7 650s, 47 650s to 47 600s. Below that, 47 500s to 47 400s, really right around the 47 450s. Below that, all the way down into the 47,300s, which would be a gnarly move to the downside. I don't know that we see that today. But we are selling off a bit here, chat. Let's see. Until CME releases nano contracts with NQ. Yeah, man. This is a gnarly week. This is a gnarly week. If you guys, you know, are newer, if you're beginners, or maybe you just don't pay attention really at all to context or fundamentals. I'm not a fundamental trader. I don't try to interpret what happens for, you know, CPI or FOMC or unemployment and what it's going to be and what it's forecast and then what's going to happen. I am just aware of when those top data releases are, when earnings are, and I try to use that in context of my technical trading, right? On a no news Monday ahead of FOMC like we had yesterday, I anticipate more potential for chop, right? You know, the day before an FOMC, I anticipate, you know, potentially choppy market conditions. We're not seeing that so far. I also anticipate on a week like this more volatility, right? Choppy market conditions and then really aggressive movements by way of positioning or after the news event for sure once the decision's in, right? Market decides what it wants to do. Can be helpful to be aware of that stuff. Let's see. I personally avoid trading the first 30 minutes. Too many fake signals. Yeah. I think most traders would do much better sitting out the first 15 minutes. In fact, there's very few that successfully trade the first few minutes of market open. Almost everybody's waiting at least for some opening range. Yes, dancing around prior day high right now. Yep. Really learn how to trail. Price tick my stop and it's going down further. Dang it. What's up, guys? So Zach wins the duck race. We have account giveaways on stream almost every day. We gave away an instant funded account yesterday. We might have one today. I don't know. I gave some... I dropped some hints on that yesterday. I think we probably might have one. Who knows? You're going to have to see. Just made 150 on that drop. Like position. Nice. Lock it up, man. Wolf made 150. He's done. Brian, good morning. Juan, good morning. JB, good morning. Cook Smith, the drop. Yep. We are dumb money. Yep. Just a dumb guy trying to make some dumb money. Yeah, so guys, at VWAP here, right? At volume weighted average price, this is an interesting spot. ES below. NQ, is NQ still holding strong? I'm checking. Whoa. Checking all these because we've just got such a movement out of this. NQ finally starting to turn here. Yeah, this is pretty gnarly, guys. This is pretty gnarly. I am definitely interested to see what happens here. Like I said, potentially a short play. Still really aggressive, right? Still really counter when we're looking at this. When we're looking at this type of trend overall, you know, very, very high time frame. I don't have a short off the open, although that would have paid like, you know, 200 points. I don't have just an immediate short with no structure looking left. I will take very aggressive shorts. I think you guys know that. I've gotten cooked a lot of times with you here. That was not one today. Just shorting the first 60 seconds of market open as we're pushing highs with no structure to the left. It's just not a play back to VWAP for me. There is one coming up. It's more structure formed and then a continuation short to the downside. I would really love to get it. I'd love to see YM pull this really gnarly pop back up. You know, go and trade 100, 150 points higher. Watch low volume behind it. Watch, you know, what I look at on Bookmap and just be confident short. Get stop above this high and run it back down towards volume point of control, where we're going to give up VWAP, come back down through the lows of the day, and it's not going to be a huge bullish day right off the bat. We might form what I was talking about earlier, the clean out day, the stop run day, the shake out all of the week longs before FOMC, where we are actually going to rip. We might pull that really gnarly, like I said, really gnarly long wick to the downside daily candle. I would trade short for that movement, but this is just not it yet. So let's see what happens around VWAP. Got some buyers stepping in here. 9:50 a.m. Eastern. We got time to trade. We're going to see. I think we might see something here. I think we might see a little something here. ES is through. VWAP trading below by a few points. NQ getting close. YM is tapping it. Again, if you are super bullish and you are like, nah, Zach, that's crazy. We opened up way above, you know, prior day high. We're pushing the upside yesterday. Gap up. We ain't coming down to fill that. That could be your play. That could be your play. You know, it just depends on the way that you want to trade every day, right? Apply some consistency to your trading. Wait for the same things to occur. Trade for the same patterns, the same movements. You're not going to be right every day. But it just comes to, you know, the way that you're going to trade. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of futures guys are going to be getting long. Maybe on some confirmation on low time frames, maybe on some volume popping back up, you know, maybe on a cross back over of like NYSE VWAP. You know, obviously volume weighted average price is on so many traders charts for a reason. Maybe we're all just idiots, but I think it comes into play a lot. It's very hard to dispute how often VWAP acts as a dynamic line in the sand. Not always. Sometimes price just does whatever it wants and, you know, doesn't care. Nothing's 100% or even close to it. But VWAP's an interesting one to watch for sure. Morning, guys. Morning, Kobe Clark. What's happening? What is happening? What's up, Kick? How we doing? What's up, YouTube? How are we doing? Yo, Ruben, our German friend. Ruben? Whoa, Ruben. What's going on, man? We got a Discord OG in the house. What's going on, dude? Good to hear from you, man. What's up, Andrew? NQ finally turned. Yep. We're going to see if these all start to sell off, man. Buyers at VWAP here in YM. ES dropped off, got below. I will say something to note, man. We don't have a heavy amount of sell volume outweighing buy volume by way of cumulative volume delta. It did drop off. I'm not leaning on ES CVD nearly as much, but that was a little bit interesting to note. Like I said, I'm looking for a potential pop back up to try this bad boy short. This could absolutely just be the dip to VWAP, and, you know, let's see if we go and trade 150 points higher. And you might say, hey, Zach, I'm just going to take a VWAP bounce every day. Long off of VWAP, you would have taken 12 points of heat, and you'd be 65 points and growing in profit. Let's see what happens here. Happy to see everybody's up and fighting the market makers. You know it. Andrew got shorted ES from up there. Nice. What's up, bro? What's going on, Daniel? What's happening? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Again, guys, I'm eyeballing something here. Chat. Yeah, guys, I'm eyeballing shorts. I will acknowledge it's still aggressively counter to the overall higher time frame trend, right? I think it's always important to look at the overall trend in the market for obvious reasons. We're coming back up to retest this big round psychological number, 48,000 even. We had some gnarly selling pressure right off the open, back to VWAP. We found buyers, which really doesn't scare me. And I wouldn't mind this on a continuation trade to the downside. I think we got a really good chance of going back down to sweep pre-market lows, overnight session lows, right? Asia, London. Maybe prior day session VWAP, maybe even lower, right? overall, still very counter, and I would need to stop way out here above session highs. So I might be waiting a little bit too long here, but I'm going to see if we could pop a little bit higher, right? As we came lower, I tried to frame out exactly what I was looking for. If we came back up, pulled a little craziness up here, I might look for a continuation. The only thing I'm not going to do is wait for a whole lot of confirmation up here. I'm going to take this more aggressively. I'm going to take this more aggressively short up here. I'd like us to get near this 48,000 even level. That would allow me a nice wide stop loss. Yeah, with 1 mini, 200 points of risk is... Ooh, that's very volatile. That's very volatile. Wow. We got a lot of volume getting traded right there, guys. Very volatile. That's not even 10 a.m. where we have consumer confidence coming up. It's a medium impact, low impact, right? Nothing crazy. 9:56 a.m. But that was very aggressive across all of these. Do we come right back through the high? Is that what we're going to do today? We're not going to form any anything outside of a test of VWAP? So what I was getting ready to say, guys, is I'm looking to short this. On this account, per trade, I really wouldn't like to take on more than $1,000 worth of risk. If I trade a mini here, which I don't have to, I can easily hop over to micros, which you guys have watched me do. A really wide stop is going to be 200 points. It's going to be right above the session high. What was that volatility, man? What was that wiggle that we just got? I like this to the downside, and I think I'm missing it. I think I'm missing it right now. Am I going to go right above the high? I hate having a stop right here, man. I really hate having a stop right here. Anybody shorting this on the way down has got to stop up here. I hate having my stop in an obvious spot. I'd like to be really wide. That would be stupid gnarly, and I wouldn't want to be in with that little amount of... Again, guys, we do have 10 a.m. 10 a.m. medium impact news coming up in 2 minutes. Here's my game plan for this, guys. Got close. Got really close. Damn, this is gonna be a miss for me. Sorry, guys. I know I'm getting twitchy with looking at the charts here and not reading the chat, but it's focus time here. Focus time. Here's my game plan, guys. We're coming into some medium to low impact news. I wanted to short this on a pop back up. That got a little bit too wiggly, a little bit too volatile for me right here. Liquidity off the book. We could be in for some volatility in about 30 seconds. If we pop on this news, I'm going to short it. That's my game plan. We came right back down to VWAP. This was really close. That was within 10 points of that 48,000 even level that I was looking to short off of for a move back down towards prior day VWAP. If we just dump from here, I'm missing my trade, right? I don't know that we sell off today. I don't know that we don't just pop right back up. But if we start to pop back up towards this 48,000 even level, it gives me a second chance. I'm going to short this with a stop outside of outside of current session high of day. So here we go, 10 a.m. What in the world is this? A whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing out of YM so far. Damn, man. It's frustrating. Yeah, stay patient for now, guys. I had something really close, right? This is essentially what it's gonna look like. I was waiting for right around that level there. That'd be pretty sweet, right? I like to frame stuff just as a 1-to-1 to get started. I'm discretionary with exits. I'm gonna watch this as we start to just pop a little bit, and I'd really like a stop outside of this high. 100 points would be like beautiful. This way, if we got to come up here, take everybody else out, I got plenty of room to let it go. Might have to run micros from down here. Unless we just zombie grind higher. We retest VWAP and that's going to be it. We just go for the zombie grind higher. That might be the play today. Yeah, sorry for getting quiet, guys. I'm just deciding if I want to take it short from down here, if I want to wait for a test of this level. I think I got to wait for a test of it. I just don't want to take a stop right above session high. I think we might come lower today. I think we might come back towards prior day high, back towards that volume point of control, maybe towards that gap. But I really would love to allow for another fake everybody out short, take everybody out, and then come back down lower. And that only really happens if I run my nice wide stop outside of this high. So I think I'm going to have to wait for this continuation of this pullback just a little bit, or drop down to micros and just run it really wide with micros. Or accept it right above the high. I think I'm going to go with the latter of all of those three, except it with a stop right above this high. $10:06 a.m. Sorry, guys. I stayed locked in for a minute on this because I'm watching price dance around down here. Let's see. Let's see, chat. Yeah, I'm going to watch this one play out. This one got close to an entry for me, guys. I'm going to have to note two things because I'm not in it yet. I'm not in it yet. I'm going to sit patient on it. I'm trying to keep myself away from chasing this. I like this for potential continuation of the downside. I really do. The risk structure that would have been ideal for me and what I was framing and talking about and waiting for was a pop back up, a nice aggressive pop back up right back towards that 48,000 even. Nice round psychological number. We got really close, right? The high of this candle was 47,993. So that's valid right in here. I started to take my foot off of the gas and get a little bit cautious right here. Where did we have that? Right here, 4 minutes before some orange folder news, we started to get super wiggly, and it was just a crack up here through some liquidity. When that starts to happen, we get a big jump in volume like that. I try not to be jumping right into that, right? I like to give it a couple of seconds at least, or a minute afterwards, to just let whatever is about to happen. Could be news, could be something fundamental coming in, could be in for a wild change in volatility. So I try to read that momentum and just, okay, foot off the gas for a second. We cracked to the upside, and then that was it. We started to turn, and, you know, we kind of started to come right back down towards VWAP. So if it gives me a second entry up here, right, a second chance, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take it short. The second reason I just don't want it from down here is YM loves to pull these exaggerated wiki back and forth movements. I think we could absolutely go trade above current session high by 10, 20, 30 points and then continue. And it's really not invalidated until we get way up here. And I just don't like a stop like right here. I don't want to put one right there. I'd want to put it out here, and that's gonna require an entry, you know, up around that 48,000 even level. All that said, finding buyers at VWAP could be the move right back up, and I could be shorting into the continuation of the upside through the high where we just go and grind higher today, but that's not the play. Let's see. Can I get a stop? Can I get a stop that's 30 points above? Because I'd be okay with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that bad from down here. That's not that bad from down here from me. I'm going to wait for it, guys. I'm going to wait for it up here. I could, but I'm going to wait for it. Oh, no, I'm not going to wait for it. Oh, shit, I got to get up. Oh, no. Here comes the interruption. Yo. I hate doing this. All right, guys, I'm going to take this short. I'm going to take it. We come up here, dance around. If I got to take a stop that's way outside of this high, I'll be a little bit frustrated, but I'm going to look to take this one short. Because if not now, when? Whoa. This is going to be my play, guys. I'm looking for this thing to continue to the downside. I'm looking for us to not really come outside of this high. Not a bad invalidation point. Yeah, a little past that 30 point above the high for a stop on this one if I have to take it. About $1,000 worth of risk. I'm looking for a continuation of the downside. Back down through VWAP. Come and check out, prior day volume point of control would be really sweet. But even overnight session lows start to put some bearish movement into this. Nice declining cumulative volume delta. I like it to the downside. Could absolutely just be a test of VWAP before blasting off higher. Again, I have to acknowledge I'm shorting a very aggressively bullish market. I like this move off the open. I like how over the last 30 minutes we have not really been able to find buyers and just blast right back up. I like that we tested right near the 48,000 evens and then came back down. And we are trying. We're trying to move lower. Now, I'll be right back, guys. It's the unfortunate other reason you got to make a decision. You want to use a limit order? Do you want to use a market order? What are you going to do if you have to be distracted for a minute? I'm putting the trade on. That's what I'm doing. So be right back, guys. All right, back in action with you guys. How did Chair do? Chair, how do we do? Thought that might actually be a longer interruption than it was, so we're not bad. Back on the charts. Back on the charts. Ooh, come on, wire. There we go. All right, chat. Let's see what you guys got to say. How we looking, chat? How we looking, chat? Oh, you guys were talking. What's going on? What's going on? Ruben in chat, man. Awesome. Somehow my brain still can't comprehend DAX, but NQ 15-second scalps. Vish, good one. What's up? What's up, Joel? Joe Nolan. Zach wants to short so bad. I did want to short. That's why I'm short. Why don't we hop back in the Discord? It's fun. Might actually. Still in a trade. Zach, turn to the bear side. I'm telling you. The Bears have been treating me good. That's good, man. It's a bullish market, so I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Guys are funny. Meme or two. Why not set a limit order higher? Yeah, that's a good question, Brian. It's a good question. Brian wants to DCA at his actual entry. Don't take my money, bro. I'm long. Oh no. Are you long? Oh, damn it. I only respond like that. I only respond like that for Brian. Oh shit. Brian. Long here. Stops. Oof. Okay, you got a demand zone. Here's the thing. Brian, if you guys don't know, is in the Discord. He's a Discord OG as well, and he's a hell of a trader. He's also one of the only other ones that trades YM. So I'm cautious wanting to fade somebody who's got so much juice. But if you go and look at the chart that Brian posted, we could both make money, okay? He trades much heavier size, much tighter stops than I do. And this dude could ride it long all the way up to where he has a demand zone. What did we call this? What do you call these purple things? Supply, right? A support and resistance level up at 48.012, right? And where he might be taking profit up here, and then getting short. I might still be alive. It might trade a little bit past that level and then come right back down. So we could both make money today, Brian. We're all right. Let's see, chat. Let's see. But no, I do like this one short. For all of the reasons that all the reasons I described. Oh, damn, man. Thought I handled it. Guys, I'll be back. I'm sorry to do this. I said I got a couple things going on. It's constant housework. I have to answer for contractors, so I'll be right back. Trade's on. I don't run fixed take profits. I don't like to run fixed take profits. It's just not my MO. If we started to dump, if we started to absolutely sell off, I'm happy taking a W around prior day volume point of control. I'll be right back, guys. Be right back. Chat, we're back. We're back in action. Still at entry on this one. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I don't like to do that. I don't like to do it when I'm live streaming, obviously, and I don't like to do it when I'm trading because I can't manage, right? If something crazy starts to happen, I can't do anything outside of just take a stop or take profit. But for anybody that actually cares, it's my driveway getting refinished. Anyway, all right. Chat. Let's go through the chat real quick. Guys, so we're in short here. We'll talk about this trade. I'll yap about it again in a minute. We'll talk about this trade. I'm going to get rid of that since I'm back here. If you guys are new and you don't know, I don't like to run a fixed take profit. Maybe you see me trade live. Maybe you haven't. I really only want to throw one on if I have to do what I just did, which is completely get up. And you know, if the market starts to absolutely dump and then pop, or we get crazy volatility, and I would have taken profit at a certain spot anyway, for the most part, I'm happy to just get that take profit hit. But let's see what this market's got for us today. But how you guys doing, man? Day's cool, just relaxing. Hey, Zach, are you building one of those fancy doomsday bunkers? No. But I do have, if you guys watch the ASFX podcast, I do have a something getting set up for a really cool studio. Really cool studio set up. Dan Trader, what's up? Good morning, Zach, and everybody. Hope your day is going well. Hopefully it's double top. We need a real pullback. We will see. You guys are talking gold. Brian C, don't take my money. Yeah, we were talking about that. Pump. All right, you guys are looking long on this. I'm short. Let's go. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. All right, guys. We're running this bad boy. We're in short from 47,926. Stop at 48,125. $1,000 worth of risk. Nothing too crazy. Like I've talked about on these accounts, I'm not doing anything insane or what I would consider anything that's insane for the size of account that I have. It's aggressive, right? Overall, it's aggressive. But I'm comfortable with that, right? I could take a couple full stops and survive. On this one specifically, something that is worth noting, I'm dynamic with stops, with targets. I'll clip stuff that's not working early, or I will attempt to at a higher rate than I have in the past on these accounts, on this live account. This is one of those situations where the invalidation point is the invalidation point. There's not a level if we start to run where I would have an opportunity to close this thing early. So it is worth noting that, you know, I'm taking on this stop, and that's where it needs to be. If we need to come up through this high, we're going to find buyers at VWAP and pop through this. Maybe we just sweep it before coming back down in the afternoon. I'm trading for this movement to continue here near the open, to come down, break our initial balance low, and then not go back up and break that initial balance high. Hopefully that we have set in 3 minutes here. But it is worth noting that. Like, I have a lot of opportunities where I trade from the extreme to maybe go stop loss to break even, or to clip a trade as it, you know, moves in profit and then back against me for a small loss. With this instance, at least so far, it's really not on the table for this trade. It would be a full stop. But let's see what we get. Appreciate you guys hopping on. As always, thanks for being here. Feel free, smash the like button, smash subscribe. If you're new, we run giveaways on these streams almost every day for instant funded accounts. We did one yesterday. We might be doing one today. We got to get the like count up to get one of those rolling. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, right? Do whatever you want. I also just dropped the 100% free trading Discord in the chats. I'm more than happy to have you guys in there. No VIP, no course, no mentorship. None of that fun stuff. Just free sauce. Over 2,000 members sharing their trading journey. All different types of traders too. We're non-discriminatory in there. I voice my opinions. I tell you what I think is a bunch of complicated BS. led by a fraud, and I tell you, you know, what works well for me, but I respect everybody in their, you know, their approaches to trading. And on that note, as this thing is starting to move against me, morning, later, Robert to work. What's up? What's going on? If you guys want to check out Top 1 Futures, they just dropped this deal right here. Just dropped this deal right here. They brought back the Ignite accounts. If you guys don't know Top 1 Futures, they are a prop firm, futures prop firm. They're an instant funded futures prop firm, one of the most aggressive offerings in the space, in my humble biased opinion, because I am partnered and affiliated. They just brought back the Ignite accounts, which are the lowest cost instant funded accounts anywhere on the market out of every firm. 50% off, and they changed some rules up to make them even more appetizing than they were. No minimum trading days to pay out, no more equity stability score. You copy trade up to 6 of these bad boys. There's some trade-offs on the price, right? There's some trade-offs like a maximum withdrawal per payout, a tighter consistency score than the instant funded, but just depends, right? The instant funded accounts still 55% off with a standard 20% consistency score. No minimum days to pay out. Really, really sick deal for those ones if you want to check it out. Same link will get that done for you. If you guys don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you want to break down, you want to hear about all the rules, what these are, what they're not, I have a video on YouTube breaking down all 3 accounts. Pricing, rules, everything, side by side, what you have to do to work towards a payout, profit targets, drawdown types, drawdown limits, everything. If you guys want to check it out, if you're on YouTube already, so you can definitely check that one. As we are getting a little bit volatile to the upside here. Let's see if I'm going to get it today. So far, looks like maybe waiting for that 48,000 even would have been to be retested. Would have been a play, at least here on YM. Taking a look around the horn, ES is just back over VWAP by a bit. NQ is continuing to sell off right now, back down towards VWAP. Are they all going to find buyers here? Is NQ going to lead the party back up to the upside? I don't really trade with correlation, although I am talking about it a whole lot more than I usually do coming off of ES onto YM. Still like what I see overall. Like I said, even if I don't, there's no spot for me to clip this in between. There's nothing in here where I'd be looking at low time frame price action or doing something crazy and say, oh, trade's invalidated now because we popped off a VWAP. You know, just not it. So we'll see. We'll see if we get the turn. We get the continuation to the downside. Maybe we test this level. Maybe we sweep the high. We come back down through VWAP. We go trade towards overnight session lows, prior day volume points of control. Or if we're just going to continue the grind higher today. And that's just going to be it. Little pullback to VWAP and then a bounce, right? It could be all we see today, right? Like I said, acknowledged it here on YM, acknowledged it on ES. I think there's definitely a case to be made to be in long right off of VWAP, right? Just looking for a crack to the upside. But not my play. Definitely not my trade. Let's see what the market's got for me today. We are past our initial balance. Past our initial balance. For those of you that don't know, let me see if I can pull the stats up. I said I was going to yesterday because I wanted to be accurate, right? So here is our initial balance high and low. Let's talk technicals because you guys all love technicals, right? Here is our initial balance high and our initial balance low. This is the price, the area that price is traded from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern, right? It's now 10:33 a.m. Initial balance is set. we have some interesting statistics around this, right? You can get this stuff just from backtesting. You can get it from reports like Edgeful, right? Who I am also partnered and affiliated with. But here's the statistics behind this opening range, this 1 hour opening range. Over the last, let's start with a lot of data. Over the last 2 years of data on YM, we break the initial balance one side, 72.5% of the time. That means that if we come down and break this low, we are very unlikely to come back up and break this high, or at least unlikely, right? Less likely to then just continue or to not come back up and break the high for all of the rest of the trading session. If we come up and break this high, we are less likely to come back down and break this low, right? Almost 3/4 of the time. If we break one side, we do not come back and break the other side, right? Very small percent of the time, we don't break either side of this. Only 4%. Only 4% of the days over the last 2 years of data does YM not break the IB high or low. Just stays within the range that it sets, right? Puts a very tight trading range in after that 1 hour. You can also work with some other statistics that have to do with this initial balance. Another one is you can tell which side is more likely to break first and then set that second statistic piece in action, right? Break that one side and not come back up and break the other side by which side sets first, right? So the statistic goes, the side that is formed second, is more likely to break first. Okay, how do we interpret that? How do we understand that? The IB high was formed at 9:30 a.m. The IB low was formed down here after the IB high. This was formed second, right? As we came lower at 9:45. The statistic by a decent percent is that this side is more likely to break first. Okay? Does that always happen? Do any of these stats always play out? Absolutely not, right? Does knowing about these give you a 72.5% edge in the market and a 72% win rate? No, absolutely not. Can they help you frame a little bit of your trade ideas based on what plays out in the market more often than not by a pretty decent percent? Sure, absolutely. I think so. There's another statistic behind the initial balance, which is how far, well, we know it breaks 72.5% of the time, right? If it breaks, how far does it usually go, right? How far does it extend to the outside? How far does it extend to the upside, right? In general, we can look at that actual number. The basic overview of that is that it doesn't often just sweep. We extend by a decent percent, a decent number of points here in YM. Not always, right? Sometimes we get that failure. We just sweep it real quick, come right back in. But some of those stats can be helpful, right? I think a statistic of one thing playing out over another throughout a trading day on a 1 hour range, 3/4 of the time is something I want to know about, right? You might say, yeah, Zach, that's obvious, right? That's pretty obvious. If we set the 1 hour opening range and we break to the upside, we typically don't just turn around and sell off for the day. You might say, you know, if we come down and break that side first, the side that we formed last, that's obvious as well, right? We typically are going to be selling off at that point. That low is going to be closer. We're going to go and snap that low first. I think you could find this stuff from backtesting. I definitely think you can find it from backtesting. But I do think stuff like Edgeful that just gives it to you on a silver platter is nice. I think it makes it easy for you. As we are watching this thing pop right back up to the upside. So far, it does look like just being even more patient. Setting a limit order like maybe Brian suggested, which is not how I jump into trades, but we're waiting for these 48,000 evens to come and get retested on a pullback up. Would give me a wider stop, better entry today. Does that happen every day? I don't know. One thing I'm going to note on this trade is I'm going to have to keep it in the back of my mind. Had I waited, because that probably would have been the only other discretionary input that I would have today. Had I waited and we come outside of this high and I had an entry down here, would I survive maybe a pop to the upside further than where my stop loss is? Because I probably would be running a wider stop loss, right? I don't think it's great to think like that when you're in a trade. I don't think it's super helpful to, to kind of confuse yourself as you're already in looking at management. But I do think, is there anything you might have done differently on another day? Okay, what's that? And how would that have played out, right? maybe that can give you some more indication of what you might want to do more often than what you did on that specific day. All right. But for me, happy with this trade. Obviously not super stoked if it's an L, but that's part of the game, right? Not everybody's going to be a banger. Not everyone's going to be a winner. Let's see what the market's got for me today. Let's see what the market's got for me. So far, it's the pop-off VWAP, man. Long-off VWAP gave 150 points. Back up to the upside. I'm still, again, until past my stop, 48, 125's trade and pushing the upside. I still like this thing short, right? Otherwise, my stop would be in a different spot. I like this for a continuation back down, a frustrating fake out to the upside, and a continuation back to the downside. We go and crack this initial balance. High. I definitely don't like it as much, right? Because if we do snap this level right here, 48.089, I'm trading for something that that's only occurred objectively less than a quarter of the days over the last 2 years, right? Where we come back down and break the low and then extend. I don't like being on the wrong side of those statistics, but if I put something on, before the range is forming, as the range is forming, I will negate it if I have to, right? It's not something that I look at exclusively, right? But just some more context, right? Price action, market structure context that I try to take into consideration. Let's see. Actually, that's not a dog, everybody here. Yeah, sorry, guys. We're also watching my family's dog. Apologies. That's not a dog everyone hears. That's my eval screaming for its dear life. Yeah. What's up, Neo? That's funny, though. What's up, Baby Rich? What's going on? Dax long is paying right now. Nice. Market could be wrong. Longer than you can resist. Yeah, there's something about it, like the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, or the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid, something like that. Which we were talking about earlier, right? Market can always go up, it can always go down more. Doesn't have to do anything. For sure. Morning, gang. What's up, Mike Z? Every day a new all-time high. It's crazy. Chrono Ember, what's going on Kick? Waiting for a small push to 67.19 on ES to get short down to Asia London lows 6900 area. Nice. Had some guys looking short on Kick. Yeah, man, we're gonna see what the market's got for us today. Let's go around the market while we're waiting on this one to play out. I don't like that, Project X. Taking a look at ES while we are... I'm going to have to go and quiet him. Taking a look at ES while we are waiting for my trade to play out. Starting to turn, man. Came back up. Kind of chopping at VWAP. Is NQ, not NW. Ooh. I might be on the wrong indice today, guys. NQ selling off really harshly. Again, I don't trade these in correlation. I find YM just lives in its own world, like, completely. But NQ selling off pretty aggressively, getting down below VWAP. YM, we started this move a little bit earlier, but popping back up. Not on anything crazy volume-wise. We're going to have to see, chat. We're going to have to see. But appreciate you guys hopping on, which I say 1,000 times. You guys got questions, trading questions, you want to yap about prop firms, yap about any of the tools or anything that you see on my chart, feel free to ask. I try to ignore the dumb stuff. The just really bad hater and troll questions, which we don't have too many of them. Try to keep subscriber mode on and limit that. But if you guys have questions, I'm happy to talk while we're watching this trade play out. Yeah, man, again, not much for me to do at all outside of let this one go to stop or to go into profit towards a take profit. Again, targets to the downside, I'm discretionary with. I'd want to see what it looks like if we come down and break this low. But I'll be looking down towards overnight session lows would be area number 1, right into this area of high volume, right? Prior day high. Area number 2 would be even lower, right? Would be down below overnight session lows. The current daily candle low and into this volume point of control from yesterday. But maybe somewhere in here, value area high, right? Somewhere in this consolidation if we wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with taking profit. If we started to come back down. We pop to the upside, it's an L. That'll be my morning. Let's see. When's the giveaway? Great question, Business Lens. We run giveaways random days, random times on these live streams. You got to be on here for a chance to win. No purchase necessary, but it's a random day, random time giveaway. I drop a form in chat, put a graphic up on the screen. I give everybody 5-10 minutes to get it filled out, and then we run a duck race. So if there is one today, which I think there's probably a pretty good opportunity for there to be one. We're not going to know exactly when it is. You're not going to know exactly when it is. Sometimes I run it first thing in the morning. Last week, I faked everybody out. I ran it very early in the morning, right after we started the live. Sometimes we run it late into the afternoon. Just depends. It's to give back to those that are on the stream here, hanging out with me. And if you want a chance at even more giveaways, if you're here for the giveaways, hop in the free Discord. 100% free trading Discord. I run giveaways exclusively in there for Discord OGs. You can follow me on Twitter. I also run a bunch of Twitter giveaways. Plenty of giveaways. I love free stuff. I used to love getting free accounts and free resets and stuff when I was trading and watching other guys stream. And it's very fun to do. Really fun to do with you guys. So the people love the duck races. They yearn for the duck races. So we're going to keep running them. We're going to keep running them. Thanks for the stream. You know it, man. Of course. I'm here every day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, if you guys don't know. 100% free. Real live trading. Stops, targets, entries, execution in real time, right? Sometimes we have no trade days. Sometimes I am trading something on the outside that I talk about. But when I say live trading, I don't mean talking about a trading view chart and then trading after the fact, or just showing you something random and then saying, oh, I took a trade and then here's what it looks like afterwards. None of that stuff. You guys can see the account I am in. This one happens to be a Top 1 Futures pre-live account. It's the first account they put you in when you get transitioned over to a live account. Pretty sweet in this one. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Again, third time. I mean, this one's going to be quick. All right, guys, not what I want to do today, but I got to call an audible here. I'm going to cut this one short. I wanted to run a giveaway today. We had one loaded up. Here's what I'm going to do, chat. Here's what I'm going to do, because I got to end this live right now. Not what I want to do, but part of it. Here's what we're doing. There will be a giveaway for a 50K Ignite instant funded account later today in Discord. There it is. There's the 100% free trading community link in YouTube and on Kick. If you're one of the 63 people watching from X and you want to hop in, I'm going to give you the link as well. Link's in my bio, and the link is going to be in the live chat. I got to cut this one short. You guys know where my stop is. You know where my take profit, where I'm looking for profit on this one. I don't love to have to get off abruptly, but I'm going to have to keep getting up 47,000 times, and that's not fun to do. So here it is, guys. Sorry to do this one, cut this one short. Not that short. What are we, an hour, a little over an hour in? But we're going to hop in Discord later today, and we're going to give out a 50K Ignite instant funded account. No purchase necessary, for free. So link is in chat. You can go to realdealfutures.com and hop into the free Discord. Hop on in the Discord. Link and giveaway is going to be in there later. Talk to you guys soon. Quick disclaimer. Got to do it every time before I end. Trading's very risky. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions, read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even if funded prop from accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, Code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. Sorry that we had a back and forth one here. We got to trade on. Let's see, if we go and run highs and turn this into a big bullish day, it's going to be an L for me. It's going to be slow for me, chat. If we sell off, we come back down, break VWAP, break that IB low, probably going to be catching a win. I'll keep you guys updated, right? I'll try to call out what we got going on. Again, to the downside, you know what I'm looking at. Area number 1. Right back down around prior day high, back down around this area of consolidation from the overnight session, the 47,775s to 47,725s. Down below that would be prior day volume point of control, at least where I have it marked on my chart, down around 47,625s. So be watching to see what happens if we start to come back down to the downside. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of the trading day. See you guys in Discord, hopefully, for a giveaway later today. We're going to run some duck races. Talk to you guys.